The China Report for Tuesday, March 19, 2013. China's has 300 drones and growing. China would be able to equip the People's Liberation Army with nearly 300 unmanned aerial vehicles against U.S. aircraft carriers in a potential conflict, according to a 29-page report published by the U.S.-based Project 2049 Institute. China currently has the most expansive unmanned aerial vehicle fleet in the world, according to the report. By 2011, the PLA already had about 280 drones in service. After more R&D centers complete flight tests for new drones and mass-produce them, the number will increase gradually. It is only a matter of time before we see a military worldwide drone race. NASA researcher arrested on China-bound plane. The Justice Department has filed charges in a case that raises more questions than answers. The central figure is Bo Jiang, a researcher at NASA's Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. Jiang was arrested Saturday night on a plane as it pulled away from the gate at Dulles International Airport bound for China. An FBI affidavit filed in support of the charges against Jiang says he was leaving the United States abruptly to return to China on a one-way ticket. The affidavit also says Jiang was questioned by federal agents about electronic devices he was carrying. He allegedly said that he was carrying a cell phone, a memory stick, an external hard drive and a new computer. China has been accused for many thefts of technology and intellectual materials over the past years, in industries such as automotive, manufacturing, aviation and weapons technology. Some manufacturers say goodbye to China. The cost of doing business in China has been rising steadily, say companies that have returned to Mexico. Salaries are surging there. The Chinese currency, the yuan, has risen in value, making goods more expensive to export. Shipping costs have risen as well, making a move to Mexico even more attractive to companies whose primary markets are in the Western Hemisphere. The Mexican peso this week rallied on optimism about the country's economic prospects following an unexpected rate cut last week. The peso has risen 2.8% in 2013. Wages were 6 times higher in Mexico a decade ago, but only 40% higher than those paid in China in 2011, according to a recent report by the International Monetary Fund. Rising wages and costly overhead are changing the dynamic of what was a Chinese monopoly on cheap manufacturing. How will China continue to keep competitive during changing economic conditions? We shall see. The Wall Street Journal accused of bribery in China. The Wall Street Journal was subject to a Justice Department investigation into bribery charges in China, according to the paper's own reporting. Those allegations, which surfaced early last year, came from an as-yet unidentified source and were loosely connected to the phone hacking scandal that has rocked the journal's parent, News Corporation. However, News Corporation officials also told investigators that their internal probe found no evidence of bribery and that they believe a Chinese government agent made the accusation as retaliation for what was perceived as unfavorable reporting, the journal reported. Often in China, bribes are required to be paid in order to conduct business. This practice is part of the culture in China. Yet, can also be used to attack companies or individuals that do not follow government demands. Taiwan to aim missiles at China. Taiwan is set to produce 50 medium-range missiles next year that will target military bases in southeast China. The missiles will be deployed in the mountains in central Taiwan from next year to aim at military targets, including airports and missile bases, along China's southeastern coast, the report said. Taiwan has been researching missiles of this type to counter threats from China after it fired missiles near the island in 1996, according to the report. Taiwanese experts estimate China's People's Liberation Army currently has more than 1,600 missiles aimed at the island. That's the China Report for today. Zaijian.